உங்களுக்கு வந்து கார் வேணும்னா பிளாக் கலர் வேணும் கிளாஸாக, ஃபோன் வேணும்னா பிளாக் கலர் கிளாஸாக வேணும், வீடு பெயிண்ட் வேணும் செம்ம கிளாஸியாக வேணும்னா பிளாக் கலர் வேணும். ஆனால் பீப்புள் மட்டும் டார்க்காக இருந்தால் அவங்கள அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்க மாட்டாங்க.
The British actually purchased grain that the Bengalis could barely afford to buy in order to ship it to Europe, not to aid the war effort as his defenders claim, but to boost the buffer stocks in the event of a future possible invasion of Greece and Yugoslavia. People started dying, and Churchill said, well, it's all their fault anyway for breeding like rabbits. He said, I hate the Indians, they're a beastly people with a beastly religion. Australian ships were docking in Calcutta port and were ordered by Churchill and his odious paymaster, General Lord Cherwell, not to disembark their wheat, but to sail on to Europe, where their wheat might be used in some future reserve stock, saying that people were dying literally on the streets, and all Churchill could bring himself to do was write peevishly on the side of the file, why hasn't Gandhi died yet?
Wow.
And this is the man the British want us to hail as an apostle of freedom and democracy, when he has as much blood on his hands as some of the worst genocidal dictators of the 20th century.
He said, this is my last time speaking on this. Do us a favor and bleach your skin all white. Thanks. Just do it.
Do us a favor, Boosie, and confess to some of them murders that you had Marlo Mike participate in and get some of his time cut. Give his family relief, Boosie. It's some murders you done got away with, Boosie, and people ought to be able to pin on you. It's some murders you done got away with. Don't forget that, Boosie. Kanye West ought to bleach his skin. Every goddamn rapper that done wrote a lyric talking about killing a nigga ought to bleach theirs too, nigga, and put a white hoodie on and call themselves the Ku Klux Klan. Cause nobody have promoted more black death and destructions than the hip hop rapper over the last 30 years. Ku Klux Klan minded motherfuckers is what I call it.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him.
Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam wa rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we've got a lot of haters up in here, and this topic has been brewing for a long time. A long time. Okay? This topic right here, again, the Black Grassroots largely has avoided certain personalities within the, you can say, the Muslim YouTube spaces. And the reason why we avoided them, because they're fake. They're so fake. Okay? We know they're fake. And we know that their whole spiel is to go after these Gen Z incels and take their money. Okay? And they have no problems doing that. And how do they do that? All they do, their whole business plan is going to Red Pill and repeating Red Pill talking points to Muslims and calling it Islamic. That's it. So like, subscribe, share. We are coming in hot. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Bilal. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Tika. And let's put the brakes on these dudes, man. Let's put the brakes on these dudes once and for all. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me just get the link up because I want y'all to join me on this. Okay? Let me just get this link. Hold on, y'all. I want y'all to join me on this because this is crazy. Okay? Remember last night? Rightfully so, we went and we talked about the whole, Andrew Tate situation, him being arrested in Romania, whatnot. We never really dealt with the brother Andrew Tate. And the only reason why we dealt with him is because y'all couldn't stop asking me about him. Okay? That was it. Otherwise, in terms of the grassroots, he's not really that important. But we did mention that this particular brother, he should not have been put in front of the Muslims because that was largely irresponsible because of his businesses. You get me? So now what do we have today? What we have today is all your usual suspects putting out videos doing an incredible amount of damage control. They're just out there, well, Islam says this and Islam says that. We're like, okay, we didn't put him in front of the people. As a matter of fact, we said that this was irresponsible to do that. Y'all put him in front of the people. He openly said what his businesses were. As a matter of fact, I was watching one today with Studio 21. If you guys know who Studio 21 is, or 21 Studios rather, put in the chat if you guys know who 21 Studios are. Okay, put in the chat just yes or no if you ever heard of 21 Studios. Okay, we've always held a position that red pill should not be put in front of the wider Muslim community. That's our position. We said that maybe the black community, yes, maybe the black community, because our cultural experience is much different from people who have generations and generations and generations of stable families. However, for reasons that we already know that are nefarious, we know that your YouTubian Da'i elites have been riding this red pill train all the way to the bank and exploiting it and monetizing it and taking these Gen Z boys their money so they can come up with all kind of cute one-liners to tell women. Then they pass it off as the liberal agenda. They pass it off as like some nefarious liberal agenda, like the liberals and the conservatives are not two pillars of white supremacy. They're somehow disjointed and not holding up an entire system, making you believe that they are separate, but really they're just holding up the same thing. That has always been our position. We've always said that both sides of this left-right paradigm, just as wicked, just as evil, just as kufri. And if you are taking one side over the other, you're taking one side of kufr over a different side of kufr. That's it. It's as simple as that. So now we have a situation where all these immigrant Muslims that came in the 90s, in the early 2000s and whatnot, and they had their kids in those times, their children are now in their 20s. They went through the entire processes of going to schools with white kids, white folks, you know, being subverted within the Western school systems, okay, largely subverted. Mind you, it's not that the teacher's job is not just to teach your children ABCs and 1, 2, 3s in science and math or whatever, right? In the West, we have things called soft sciences. This is the brainwashing machine. Okay, so their job is largely to push the agendas of the left-right paradigm. So they grew up in this system. They started listening to hip-hop music, okay? And y'all lost your minds, because they wanted to act like rappers and stuff. And you wanted to make sure that you avoided black folk. This generation that was born between the 90s and the 2000s, they have never, if they are born in the West, in Western countries, they have never, ever in their entire lives heard a single khutbah that is relative or relevant to their experience as a Muslim in the West. I'll repeat that. They have never in their entire lives, if they are born between 90s to 2000s, never, not once, I promise you, heard a Jummah khutbah that is relevant to their experiences in the West. But they have heard a whole lot of masajid talk about how much money they need every single Jummah. And so the masajid, they become like this.
Well, I better walk on this money. Woo! 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 Get some anointing. You put some up here. Woo! Man. Woo! Put some money. Put some anointing on this money.
Y'all hearing me? That's what they go to. So once a week, they go to the masjid to hear that stuff. Okay? And your imams are so angry because they out here in the West with the Western experience. You don't know that black people, we are the pretty much the leaders of everything cultural. Okay? Just put something black in front of it and it will sell culture. And they get angry and they start doing this stuff.
We're not black. Let's stop talking like we're black.
So now what you have is a situation for the last maybe 6 years or so where along comes the red pill, and here come the Muslims who are watching the red pill, and they're like, I wonder if I can get paid with this, bringing this stuff to the Muslims and painting it Islamic. And y'all eat it up. If you don't believe me, just go watch some of these comments on some of these videos. Ali Dawa put out a small video today. Okay. Ali Dawa put out a small video today. And just go read some of the comments. Free Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's innocent. Blah, 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 blah. Like, how do you know that stuff? Like, how do you know? If he's innocent, of course he should be free, right? Correct? But the question is, how do you know? This generation coming up, this is evidence of the tarbiyah that they're getting. And it's very evident that the tarbiyah, Islamic tarbiyah that they're getting is strictly off of social media influencers. They have no clue. They're totally clueless. They don't know anything about wala wa bara at all. Their wala wa bara for them is liberalism versus conservatism, feminism versus red pill. That's wala wa bara for them. Not Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, and the understanding of Salaf versus actual kufr and actual bid'ah and stuff like that. This is where we are at. And ironically, none so far, okay, not a single one so far that I have seen anyways, is holding accountable your YouTubian da'i elites for their recklessness and their irresponsibility for putting the most despicable characters in front of the Muslims and saying, listen to this and listen to that. But you know who largely, by and large, avoided all of this and did not participate in it naturally without even having to be told? You know who didn't participate in it? The Black Muslim grassroots. We didn't participate in it. We didn't put any nefarious characters in front of you and say, here, follow this. Did we do any of that? When you started putting Jordan Peterson in front of us, we was like,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Isn't that what we said? Then, when you started putting, whatchamacallit, Andrew Tate in front of us before he became Muslim.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Then you wanted to put Daniel Haqiqatjou in an AIM conference. And we said,
Who?
Isn't that what we said? We didn't fall for the shenanigans. We didn't fall for the okie doke. But you want to come over here and tell us that we should speak for you. You speak for yourself. You have an entire generation now of incels who have pledged allegiance to other incels, okay, who are bringing them red pill. That's your fault. ask the typical black convert, like especially the older ones, right? How many times they've been asked to go save somebody else's child? The black convert got to come in and save somebody else's child because the child is wilding out. You know us when you need us. When you need us, that's when you're ready to come and ask us some questions. But when we need you, well, guess what? It's a new year coming. It's a new day coming. It's a new time coming. You got like so many hundreds of thousands of Muslim men, young Muslim men, buying this garbage. Okay, by charlatans, mind you. I wouldn't name names, but that would cause too much trouble. Okay, it would cause way too much trouble. And to be honest, it's like we got our own work to do. How many of us get asked to go and save somebody else's children, but when we ask you for something, you're nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen? So now, I'm just saying, this is all qadr Allah, okay? Qadr of Allah. It is amazing that the very same people that you avoided and you pushed under the bus, your children are trying to emulate. And now, this very same black scholars that you had all these epithets and all this work for, now you don't even have them anymore. The black scholarship, you are like, your children are now following YouTubers. Can you imagine? Look here, black people. I want some honest answers. I hope some of y'all coming on this live right now, because I'm going to ask this question. Okay? Black people, which one of y'all is ready to take masculinity lessons from Daniel Haqiqatjou? Which one of y'all is ready to learn how to be a man from Daniel Haqiqatjou? Just say I am or I am not in the chat, please. Or just come on and just like help me out here. Help me out. Or you know what? Let's name some names anyway. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Okay? Which one of y'all black people, black folks, are ready to learn masculinity lessons from Gabriel Romani? Or what's the other one? Mahdi Tijani. Y'all ready to take masculinity lessons from them? You ready to take masculinities from Mahdi Tijani or Gabriel Romani? Come on, let's talk. That's what they're doing, right? Have you ever in a life met any Negroes going talking about, you know what? I think black folk should, learn masculinity from Gabriel Romani or Mehdi Tijani. Have you ever heard such a thing? But yet these two, okay, have thousands, and I mean thousands of Muslims listening to them. So why is it that the black grassroots, just by nature, avoids these characters? Just avoids them. But you don't have to say anything. I got nothing against Gabriel Manny or Mehdi Tijani, but I know game when I see it. That's us. That is us. We know a hustle when we see it. We know what it looked like. We recognize game when we see it. It's like a litmus test of authenticity. Thank you. Kevin put it perfectly. It's the image. Their points are garbage. It's veneer. It's like, we look at it and we're like, what are these guys saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We're just not, black people, we're not going to say it out loud because once we say it out loud, everybody's going to get mad at us. They're going to look at us like we haters. Like, no, that's not it. That's not it, my friend. Okay. That's not it. Okay. But it's a hustle. It's just a hustle. That's what all it is, man. If y'all want to pay these dudes to teach you how to be men, be my guest. But if you had basically listened to the black grassroots when you were supposed to, maybe your children that were born in the 2000s and early 2000s and late 90s, they wouldn't have these problems today now, would they? Black folk don't have these issues. Do black people have these issues? Yes or no? Put it in the chat, please. Do black people have these issues? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. That's why they getting mad, because we know very well. Yeah, exactly. Look here. Better Club. Remember the Better Club? Can you imagine a black dude right now today starting a better club for black youth? What do you think would happen? And we have issues in the black community. We do have issues, that's for sure. Single motherhood, the rainbow people. We got a whole lot of crap, hip hop destroying the minds of our youth. But the one thing that we know is that we know game. That is the one thing that we know. Exactly. We are too busy fighting structural racism to worry about how to be what we are. Thank you. If anything, we know very well that the problem with the men in our community, it comes as a direct result of broken homes. This is something that most black people understand. even if they won't admit it. We understand this very, very well. But what you see now is the politicizing of Islam, calling this political agenda Islam, the conservative Muslim versus the liberal Muslim debate. Can you imagine? The conservative, we can take knowledge from anybody as long as he's a conservative Muslim. He can't be a liberal Muslim. We're willing to work with anybody who's a conservative Muslim, even if he's a Deobandi. If he's Deobandi conservative, no problem. If he's Deobandi liberal, no, we can't do it. This is the Wala wa Bara now, under a Kufri system. And y'all eat it up. And these guys, they have like a template. Watch your Utopian Dai elites. Okay? This is what you will see. Okay? They will basically work together, right? They will build each other's platforms up. They'll do collabs and everything like that. This is how they do it, okay? It's all the same type of like business model. Okay? They build each other platforms up. They talk about trending things, okay? They have to do that. This is why we talked about Andrew Tate, because it's trending. Okay? We ain't afraid to admit it. We said it from the jump. That's what y'all doing. Okay? So we're doing it too. We're talking about Andrew Tate because it's trending. But at least we're the only ones that I know so far that made it a point to point out how irresponsible it was to put him in front of the Muslims. I don't know anybody else who said it. Just us. Okay? Then they start their institutes. Every last one of them got an institute. All of them. They all have institutes. And they have no problem be called Ustad. Can you imagine? You don't believe me? Go to their channels. You'll see them all. I got a great point here. What is the mosque of Eddie from the Dean Show going to be like? That might be a fact. This is based off the Al-Maghrib model, though. Maybe. Allahu Alam. I don't know. But at least you can say Al-Maghrib, it had scholarship when it started. Right? That's what you can say. But remember when Al-Maghrib started, they didn't have no YouTube channels. Yep, Muhammad Ijab and Ali Dawah have one in Norway. Can you imagine? This is what Islam is going to now. Just random dudes building masajid for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Dean Show got Donald Trump on the show. Neither would I, be honest. But this is it. This is the new religion. You get it? So now, because these retarded kids started to say it like that, but yeah, if you're watching, like we say it all the time, and if you get your religion from YouTubers, you're dumb as nails. You're dumber than the device that you're watching the YouTuber on. Okay. Okay. That's where you're getting a religion from, a YouTuber. And you're defending your decision to get Islamic knowledge from a YouTuber too. You're defending it. Name me one alim in the history of alimdom that said, yeah, okay, cool, go get your religious knowledge from a YouTuber. Just name one, a single one. But you want because you're too lazy to pick up yourself and go sit at the feet of scholars. You want to give a fatwa for everybody. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And when you get played, you will defend yourself being played. Y'all hearing me? I need somebody to come up on the chat and join me on this, man. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. I need somebody to help me with this, man. This is a massive grift. And it's a grift that these people are cooperating on. And nobody's saying anything. It's so weird, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Bilal.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are we doing?
Good, bro. How you doing, man?
Haqiqatjou. It's been a long time. Alhamdulillah, I'm all right. It's quite late over here. I'm in the UK. But,
yeah, I know.
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yeah, it's crazy. It's as if they're just basically, it's so easy because it's been done before. They literally just copy the model and then dress it up Islamically and then present it to a fresh audience. A fresh audience that they know are generous in general. And I guess are probably more gullible because we're of each other. Subhanallah.
Yep. And that's the thing about social media. It will always incentivize the desires or the whims of the people. And so because of that, you're always going to get a gullible audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these kids are incredibly gullible because they grew up on that stuff. We didn't grow up on that stuff, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? We didn't grow up on social media and stuff like that. We grew up like reading books and playing outside and, you know what I mean, coming home with scrapes and bumps and these type. These kids born in the 90s or the 2000s, they can go their entire life without getting a bump, a broken bone, a scar, nothing.
Yeah. Scary.
Because they're always in front of screens, computer screens and telephone screens and stuff.
And then some people even make money playing video games. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's totally insane, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. So like, what do you think? Because basically, like this whole people was talking about red pill being the genesis of red pill. You mentioned pimps, right? But and like books about pimps. Do you know the comedian called Patrice O'Neill?
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people would have cited him as the godfather of red pill, basically, because a lot of what he said in his comedy is basically the talking points that they use now. But it's like all of this is basically an overcorrection of feminism. It's society's overcorrection of feminism, and feminism was basically overcorrection of misogyny. If you want to look at it societally and like emotionally, not necessarily economically, right? And so, how do you see this playing out?
Well, I think there's a lot of there's some things that Muslims are missing is that prophecy is being fulfilled here, right? That's my personal opinion. I put it out here already, and we're living in a time of prophecy, and all of this is a part of it. All of this is a part of it. I honestly believe that these people, your social media influencers, from the Muslim space, these are the Rurayba that the Prophet ﷺ was talking about. That's what my personal. I'm not forcing anybody to believe that, right? But my personal belief is that, and that's because we've seen the scholars of the past, the big scholars, right? And the brother Abdullah the Luxi, he made an excellent point to me in the comments, is that he said that back in the day, we would scold the people for listening to small students of knowledge over the big scholars. And he goes, now we're scolding the people to listen to the small students' knowledge over these YouTubers.
Yes,
right?
Nuts.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So red pill is not like one type of thing. It's very, very, very vast, right? It's very wide, and that's why I say that red pill for Black people, right? In the Black manosphere and whatnot, it's fine because we have our own experience, but I'm not seeing how it's relevant for Eastern Muslims who have a long history of intact families, family structure, and community structure. You're just introducing this to these people in order to monetize your platforms. That's how I'm seeing it. Right? That's how I'm seeing it. Brother C.L. Edwards.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What you got for us, bro?
Man, I screenshotted some comments from a video, man. I want to share some of these screens. These are reactions to some of what happened with Tate being arrested and whatnot. And I don't know, it was so many comments on this video that were crazy. Just crazy. I couldn't screenshot them all, but I got some of them just to have some evidence of just the mentality that some people have. Like me and you were discussing over WhatsApp earlier. This is nothing but gamer culture. Like, do you remember Gamergate? Gamergate. This is just the Islamic Gamergate, and it's just and these guys, man, they have the gamer.
I don't know Gamergate.
Gamergate, if you Google it, you get the whole story, but in summary, it was like girls were saying that the online space for gaming was misogynistic. Women were being cursed out, hit on, sexually explicit things were being said to them, blase splee. Even with it's still going on, really. Even with Meta, Google changed its name to Meta, and they have the metaverse now. They say now with the metaverse, the women can't get on the metaverse. This ain't funny because this is funny, but it's funny because of how outrageous behavior is. That when women get on the metaverse, that males in the metaverse, they start groping the women and trying to gape them, in the metaverse. So it's like this real toxic incel behavior. It's they were the gamers they started taking on this real alt-right ideology. That's where a lot of all these different buzzwords and images like the Pepe the Frog and Kek and the Kek flag and all that stuff. It started in 4chan and 8chan, and then the gamers picked it up. And then after the gamers picked it up, the alt-right picked it up and started using it. So in summary, that's Gamergate.
All right, thank you.
Oh, no problem. So this is one comment. I saw Tate speeches, and it's full of wisdom that I could see only with people who have learned Quran and Sunnah for many years.
Wow.
It came to me.
That's gotta be sarcasm. That's gotta be sarcasm.
Wow. You see, and before you even continue,
that's gotta be sarcastic.
No, it's serious.
The person who wrote that comment has to be a male, has to be in their 20s or younger.
Probably younger.
Right? Oh yeah, and probably never heard a full lecture in full from any scholar ever in their entire life. That's my assumption, just from that comment. Anyway, keep
I would agree. I saw Tate speeches, and is full of wisdom that I could see only with people who have learned Quran and Sunnah for many years. It came to him naturally. With that evidence, I can say he cannot possess that knowledge inherently and do an act they accuse him of.
You see how dumb these guys are? Sorry, like that.
You know what?
See how stupid these people are.
I'm
You know
gonna
what
say
I'm
this
saying?
before
This is compounded exponential stupidity, right?
I'm going to say this before you guys do, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Watch someone call him the Mahdi.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I had a comment. I had a comment on one of my videos, right? The one I put out, you know, when people start asking me about Andrew Tate, right? So I just put out that video because it's on my WhatsApp. I grabbed these clips of WhatsApp. I put it on the video. People stop asking me, right? One person commented, Andrew Tate's, you know, something like Andrew Tate coming to Islam is a sign from Allah. Watch millions of people convert to Islam because he came to Islam. You know, I was laughing. I'm like, what do you say to stuff like that, bro? You know what I mean? This stupidity is compounded, you know? And it's nothing against Andrew Tate at all. It's not his fault that people are stupid, right? It's not. How is that his fault? You know what I mean? He converted to Islam. May Allah reward him. May Allah bless him and everything like that. I mean. But like any idiot can go and see what he was doing for his money. So when you know what he's doing for his money, why would you even say something so retarded like that? It just shows that you didn't even go and bother to do any research about this person that you're saying studied many years of Quran and Sunnah and all, you know. Quran
it naturally came to him.
It naturally came to him. You know, it just shows how retarded you are because, like, you know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, you can be retarded.
Astaghfirullah.
You can be retarded in the comment section because nobody knows who you are. You know, so you can be stupid, right? And you can do stupid things. But however, the environment, it cultivates stupidity, the social media environment. You know what I mean?
Now, brother, check this out. Now, this is a comment from a sister, and like all these gamer Muslim boys started torching her, attacking her. This is what she says, and I'm going to read a couple of the responses. She says, I always thought there was something wrong with him in the horrible way he talked about women and his vulgar use of profanity. No self-respecting new Muslim would degrade themselves to make such humiliating videos calling women bees and whores. In one video, he gave an example of a young woman from Moldova being put on a plane by a rich man, not because she was capable herself, but because a man paid for her to travel, and that therefore, he argued, most women cannot be self-made. We're totally dependent in a man to give them worth. Okay. So the first response to that is, and question mark, you can't handle the fact that he's a Muslim. The next, he already expected that. He said they will try everything to silence him. First, he will be banned from social media, and that happened. Then he will be accused of false charges, and that happened yesterday. If they fail to put him in jail, then they will try to kill him and say it's an accident. The next one, she's automatically a victim because she's a woman. Ha ha ha, laughing out loud. The last one on the screenshot, sister, you are being emotional. We need to move past this liberal feminist ideologies. He's accepted Islam. All this past sins are forgiven. And if you see the comments, most 99% of Muslim brothers support him. And I can't read it, blah, blah, blah. I also seen a lot of non-Muslim men agreeing with his views. He's innocent until proven otherwise, and he has previously been falsely accused of other stuff. Feminism and women empowerment has completely destroyed this generation. Shaking my head. May Allah guide us. And I do agree, most women are not self-made. Say whatever you want. These are the responses to the sister, you know, just giving her opinion about why she was standoffish about why she wasn't feeling the guy. But the responses just go on and on and on, and they're just basically attacking her. You can't. I had somebody. You saw the post I put on my community page. Somebody said they were unsubscribing me. Like, okay, thanks for letting me know.
Bye, Felicia.
But it's like, it's so weird. And I'm telling you, I used to be, when I was younger, I used to think about like prophecies about, about the Dajjal and all these different things. And I used to wonder, how could this possibly happen? How would people fall for something that they've already been warned about? But now with the internet, it seems so much clearer now. It's how something like this can happen.
Yep. I mean, if you can follow characters like this, then of course it's very easy for you to worship the Dajjal as a god. It's very simple. Look at even the sister's response. Even in the sister's response, I'm not gonna say I'm in agreement to what she said. Right? Definitely, I have some problems with the way she responded to that thing. Right? Because she just assumed that he's guilty. But the men is even worse because they're responding to a woman like that. Right?
And they're assuming he's not guilty. Nobody knows what.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah. Go ahead, brother Bobora.
I think it's a little bit more into that. It's into the psyche of people today. And when we look at technology, for example, technology is advancing, but the intellect of people are not advancing along with the technology. And some say due to that, it's dumbing down people. Well, I think it's a bigger picture where it's, for the Muslim, on the Muslim aspect is the East meeting the West. That's what we're seeing on the internet with the Muslims, right? It's like the East hitting with the West. So we're getting like a little bit of Islam with a little bit of kufr mixing in it, right? And I think that a lot of the Muslims on social media, that like YouTube and this and that, and the algorithms and what's popular and what gets views, we can see that is what is important. Teaching Islam from its essentials is not important. It's not important. And for followers, well, you can see when you listen to people's response, like the sister, he was reading her response. I'm like, Andrew Tay, this guy, like, you know him in your real life? Is this somebody's impacting your real life? Is somebody's paying your bills? It's like, do you need him or listen to him to survive in this world, or even to survive with your religion? Why you're so strung up on a internet or YouTube personality influencer? Why are you so strung up on this?
But Abu Baram, you know what I think the issue is? Because we as Black folk, right, we're not really into that stuff because we don't come from that type of background that these Easterners come from, right? So when the Eastern Muslim man, they start getting into these red pill, spaces, right? And they're being introduced to these red pill spaces, like people like Mehdi Jajani, like people like Gabriel Romani and the Three Muslims podcast, and you have the people who are pushing very hard, like the Dean Show, Muhammad Hijab, and they're introducing people who have never heard this type of thing before, and they start accepting these type of talking points and start speaking to their women like that. The women now are reacting to the men. You get it? The women are reacting to the men. So that sister, when she said that point, of course we don't agree with it because we're like, what's she talking about? You know what I mean? But there's a different thing that's going on, and it's proven by the reactions, the way that the men were speaking to her. You get the way the men were speaking down to her. That's what's going on in the Eastern Muslim spaces now. They start talking down to the women. And remember, if those women look what's happening in Afghanistan today. What is going on in Afghanistan today?
Oh, you're talking about with the women. the women in the education system, and they don't want them to get educated and stuff.
Exactly. So now imagine now you come from that background, that type of background, and you come to the West, you know, and you start addressing the women like that in the West.
But you know, a lot of these, but a lot of these Desi men's, my personal experience with them, because I live in the Muslim community, I live is all Desi. They punk, and they punks. They soft. Even the women see them as soft.
Right. But within their families, that's a different thing. The way that they deal with their families is totally different, because we understand that, you know, the the South Asian culture is incredibly misogynistic, right? These are the people who were killing their daughters. You know what I mean? These are the same people that were killing their daughters and whatnot. You know, and having wife burnings and all this kind of stuff. These are the descendants of those type of people, right? Right. So, 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you know what I mean? But but keep going, Abu Bora, and Brother Bilal and Brother Sial, you can jump in too, inshallah.
Yeah, because I was, you know, I was just looking. I listened to your video yesterday, and you know, just some of the Muslims, how they are, you know, caught up in that, like they love these personalities, and they really taking it for the medium to learn Islam, and you know, and I'm like, you know, these people are not really teaching Islam. And at the end of the day, they're not teaching nothing, you know. You know, I mean, you mentioned when you was in Damaj, and some people who have to travel to go learn Islam and the things they have to suffer and go through, just to get a little bit of you know, it's the reality. A little bit of too on top of that. You know, I lived in Egypt for a couple of years. You go through a lot of things. I know a lot of brothers. I know brothers who passed away going to learn game.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
You know,
me too.
Yeah, I know people who passed away. I know people who got hurt, shot, stabbed, and all type of stuff. You know,
all type of stuff.
Including myself, man. I got stories for that. So, you know, Imam Shafi has this famous saying. He says, like, you drunk the cup of ignorance your whole life, and you never taste the meekness of knowledge for an hour or something like this. This is a statement like this from Imam Shafi'i, and you see that today with the Muslims today, especially on YouTube. These guys don't spend no hours in learning their religion, right? And then like people like Daniel, he's another one. You know, this guy don't have no Islamic knowledge under his belt. You could tell by the way he speak, and people like, oh, he has more knowledge than the shuyukh. I have seen comments like this from his followers. Wow. You should see the stuff they leave in my comments. You know, I can't even post it because it's so stupid. They're like, you know, Daniel, he has more knowledge than the ulama in Saudi. I'm like, oh man, are you really serious?
Well, I'm
gonna show you some of them. I don't even. I look at them like these guys have to be complete morons. I'm like, Daniel has more knowledge than the shuyukh in Saudi Arabia, and he's what?
Trolling. Must be.
No, this guy's not. They're not trolling, Ak. They serious. They're not trolling. They are.
I agree.
They're
not trolling.
They're not trolling.
I can't wrap my head around people having that much gall to say something so stupid.
They really. They think this guy is like the Mahdi, man. You know, because Daniel's the right skin tone. You know, that's the truth. He's the right skin tone. He's the right skin tone. Look at the guy
of Peter Griffin I sent you. You know, the one with the color chart.
Oh yeah.
They be thinking these guys are the Mahdi, man. I swear, these brothers come like Daniel. He got the right skin tone. They're like, this guy is the savior, man. He's like the Jesus for these people. You know, he's like the Messiah for them. He's like the Messiah for them, or he's like the Mahdi. And I'm like, yo, this guy is a philosopher. Half of the YouTubers you're following, like the Dean Show, Eddie don't got no knowledge.
No, he don't. And if he just stuck with interviews, we wouldn't have any problem with him.
Eddie is jahil of the religion.
What is he doing? He's now using his large platform to make a hard right turn and call it Islamic.
This guy, what Jesse Lee doing on his show? What Islamic is about that?
All people in the dunya.
You know, he's and all the conservative far right, they interview each other on YouTube. They all interview each other. So that's why Jesse Lee's in his circle, within his circle. That's why he's interviewing.
Yeah, of course.
He's from all the far right on the YouTube channels. They interview each other. All of them interview each other. So the Dean Show. Why are you with Jesse Lee? That's that lets you know where they're heading to, and then you're going to establish Islam with these type of views, these conservative views.
Like I said before, because even the brother Bilal, and we see these comments, right, and we're like totally like we're taken aback because the stupidity behind them is like mind blowing, right? But that's why I said we are actually living in those times that the Prophet ﷺ he talked about, right? That's my opinion, right? We're living in those times. People have avoided scholarship. You know what I mean? And scholarship is just something that people say now. There's something that people say in order to have some sort of a legitimacy, right? Listen to the scholars, listen to the scholars, listen to scholars. But they don't mean listen to scholars. They mean listen to them.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
They don't, so now if you look at the AIM conference, right? That is the biggest, in my opinion, the most damaging thing that happened to the Salafi Dawah, in my opinion, in the last 30 years. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Damaging, right? Absolutely damaging, right? And the fallout from that one thing, we predicted it. We predicted even before, right? We said this ABC is going to happen. You are going to have to disassociate yourself from. And when that time comes, any type of thing that you had resembling integrity is going to be completely gone. And it's not going to be you guys. It's not going to be the AIM conference guys. It's going to be the Salafi Dawah. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Exactly.
Right.
What
So, and this is the issue because they have basically taken a stance that influence should be the new religion. And influence is the religion of the Dajjal himself. You get me? Influence is the religion of the Dajjal himself. The Dajjal will be able to convince people that he is a Dajjal with the most incredible lies that you will believe it's the truth, right? So if you can believe the small lie, the tiny lie, if you can accept the tiny lie, like Daniel Haqiqatjou, who believes that Daniel Haqiqatjou studied with many Deobandi scholars? Do any of you believe that?
I don't even think he did. He probably had one or two.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I don't think anybody with a inkling of intelligence will be like, no, you didn't. You just saying that.
That's saying that because Deobandis, they memorized the Matan. They memorized things in the Deen. So I don't even really think he was even studying with Deobandis because they be memorizing books and stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
Musa the Gamer's got a comment on here. When inviting anyone going to be beneficial is spreading Islam is the ultimate aim.
Let's see. Let me see here. Let me get this. Let's see. Would inviting anyone going to be beneficial is spreading Islam is the ultimate aim? Wouldn't inviting anyone going to be beneficial is why? What?
No. Any jahil? No. The ignorant don't have the right to speak on Islam. That's sinful in Islam. The ignorant, you don't bring the ignorant in front of the people to educate. That's the most ignoramus statement I ever heard from a Muslim. And this is the problem, that the Muslims don't understand the usul of the religion. This is the problem we have. And the Muslim, the gamer, we invite anybody going to benefit and spreading Islam, and this is the ultimate aim. No, somebody who has knowledge of the religion. That's who you. That's
never Musa the Gamer. Never, ever Musa the Gamer. Right.
When the prophet,
but the one with knowledge, the one with knowledge is the one who gets priority to speak. Right. Look at whatchamacallit, the story of Musa and Khidr. Right? Musa was asked who's the most knowledgeable person, right? And he said, I am. So Allah wanted to show him that he wasn't. You know what I mean? Allah wanted to show him that he wasn't. And he basically, the whole story, he introduced him to Khidr, who had more knowledge than Musa, right? Right? Because Musa's surprised because he's the messenger of Allah. Right? And of course, Allah told him you are not the most knowledgeable, right? But this individual named Khidr is. So Musa, now he meets Khidr. What is the job of Musa at this point? The job of Musa is to what?
Hear and obey.
Hear and obey, right? You need to sit down and listen, right? Alayhi salam. That's the job of Musa at that point.
He even showed lack of knowledge finding him because Allah gave him the sign and they lost the fish and he's like, wait, what happened? Like every moment of that story, subhanAllah.
Yeah. But why would Allah put that story in the Quran and make it something that is recited all the way up until Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? It's something that we can benefit from. You understand? It's something that we can benefit from. Musa alayhi salam, is anybody going to say that Musa didn't have knowledge?
Abadan. No way.
Never. But when he made Khidr, his job now was to sit down and learn. And what did Khidr tell Musa? The first thing when Musa said, I want to learn, what did Khidr tell him? What did he tell him?
You're not going to be able to do it.
You're not going to be able to do it. You won't be patient. You won't.
How can you be patient about something you don't know?
Thank you.
Basically.
You know, I was just reading the comments. I was reading the comments right now, right? And the guy, the gamer, I think his name in the comment section. You see, he's giving a good example what he's saying about the YouTubers. He doesn't know, right? And this is the thing about these YouTube channels. They're not teaching people what is the correct way to learn the religion. Mm-hmm. What it means to be on the path of seeking knowledge, who you learn knowledge from, what type of knowledge are you actually learning? See, they're not learning this. You can tell by his comment in this section. He likes Eddie the Dean Show. He likes Andrew Tay. I was reading. So all these things, these personalities, they're not teaching their followers about Islam. See, you know, I spent my time in learning religion in Egypt, right? And in Egypt, from my observation, some of the popular sheikh or shuyukh that are on TV on Egypt, these are the people that everybody loves. These are the personalities that everybody loves in Egypt, right? But when you start listening to these personalities, they're not teaching people usul of the religion. Right? They give them nice little reminders that boost their iman while they hear them talk. But when they leave, the iman goes low. But you ask, what did you learn? They didn't learn anything. Right? These YouTubers are the same way. When their followers go to them, it might boost their iman for a second. But when you sit down and ask them, what do you actually learn from the religion? They can't say it. They haven't learned anything. They didn't learn usul of religion. They didn't learn aqidah. They didn't learn tawheed. They didn't even learn sirah. They don't learn hadith. They don't learn science hadith. They don't learn the things that preserve the sharia of Allah. They don't learn them. They just learn who this personality is, who that person is, his story, how he converts to Islam. Oh, this is nice. This guy gave a football here. This sister, she became a Muslim, and that's not going to suffice and make the Muslim survive as being a Muslim, and that's not going to preserve the Islamic law. It's not going to preserve their religion. So when we talk about learning the religion of Islam, somebody teaching and educating the religion, it's not the Deen Show. It's not Daniel. Daniel's not preserving the religion. The whole show of Daniel on AIM conference, did he recite any verses in Quran? When Daniel talks on YouTube, he never refers to Quran. He never recite a verse in Quran. I never hear him recite an ayah.
I never heard him say an ayah once or a hadith, a full hadith once.
Never.
Right? And as a matter of fact, his response, I remember, because, you know, like people kind of like talk to me because they see me as neutral and fair and whatnot, right? And I try to be as neutral and fair as possible, right? Like if you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care who you are, right? So some of these brothers were sending me, you know, what Daniel's response to after the AIM conference to Sajid and whatnot, and they said it's really, really good. Just watch it, really, really good. So, you know, it's more than one brother, mind you, right? So okay, I finally got around to watch it. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end, okay? And a couple of things jumped out at me. First of all, it was garbage, right? It was just total nonsense, right? But these guys are telling me it's good, right? And how old do you think these people are? How old do you think they are?
30s and their 20s.
Thank you.
They're grown men. They don't teenagers. These people be grown men. Got kids and everything. Wife and kids, some of them.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Right. And that's exactly it. You know, 30s and 20s, right? So I'm looking, this is garbage, right? That's what I'm saying to myself, right? The other thing that jumped out to me, is very obvious that he did not come up with this script by himself. Very obvious, right? You are talking to somebody who's never quoted a hadith, and all of a sudden he magically finds clips from Sheikh Albani, rahimahullah, to show the Madakhila bootlickers that even Sheikh Albani has opposed the leaders, right? And I'm like, this is their wala wa bara. It's team sports. It has nothing to do with the Quran, nothing to do with Sunnah, nothing to do with Fahm Salaf, right? This is the new religion. This is the new sect of Islam, the Rawabila, right? This is them. You get it? You know, the enemy of my enemy, right? I'm telling the brother, you mean to tell me that whatchamacallit, Dan Haqiqatjou, he all of a sudden he starts listening to Sheikh Albani, and I said, look at the clip that he used for Sheikh Albani, okay? About Sheikh Albani, Sheikh Albani's criticizing the leaders. Does Sheikh Albani call these people bootlickers? Is he saying the same thing that these people are saying? Is he saying?
He doesn't use that type of terms. He don't use them terms at all.
No, he never did that. Right? You are talking about a time where the whole entire Muslim ummah was in a crisis because of the Iraq war. All of the ummah was in a crisis. I was there, right? We were born in that time. You were swimming around in your daddy's balls, you know, when this was going on, all right? Can't tell me nothing, right? I was there, right? I witnessed the whole thing, right? And at the same time, when he's criticizing the Saudi government for inviting the Americans to come and repel the Saddam's advances on Saudi Arabia, right? Sheikh Albani rahimahullah is saying that they shouldn't invite the Americans, and that the people are not with this, and that the Muslims should be taking care of this thing. That's what Sheikh Albani's stance was, right? Was he calling out the Saudi regime this and the Saudi? Did you ever hear this from Sheikh Albani ever? Like these people?
Nah, he never called them bootlickers and things like that, but he definitely disagreed with the Saudi.
Never.
He definitely disagreed.
But you don't see that because you don't know the whole context. You're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the whole picture.
And then when he disagreed,
at the end of the day, when that whole thing happened, Sheikh Albani, Sheikh Bin Baz, and Sheikh Uthaymeen, and Sheikh Mutwa, after all of that, they were still brothers. After all of that, you people want us to abandon, you know, the Madakhila bootlickers, right, as you call them, right? The Madakhila bootlickers. Fight your fight, bro. Like we ain't got nothing to do with that. You fight your fight. Please.
But isn't this? Wouldn't you say? What would you react to if I put forward that this whole thing that's happening is blowback from Salafi publications?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we know that. We know that, right?
Maybe yes, maybe no, because if you think about Salafi Pubs and you think about Daniel resembles a lot like Hizb ut-Tahrir. And Hizb ut-Tahrir been around for a long time. You know, they're not as popular.
Yeah, but remember, Hizb ut-Tahrir, they were gone for years, like We didn't hear about them for so long. After Sheikh Muqbil Rahimullah, his dismantling of them. Every album, first of all, every album. I can't think of a single album that didn't refute these guys.
All of them refuted them.
All of them refuted them. They were gone. They were out of our hair. Right? The question is, how did Hizb ut-Tahrir make a resurrection? How did they come back? Somebody tell me how they came back. Was it the ulama who brought them back?
Nah, Muslims. The Muslims in the West. Muslims in the West.
Which Muslims?
I remember the UK. And only want to talk to
YouTubian elites that brought them back. YouTube made their resurrection. YouTube made their resurrection. Look at Dilly, Hizb ut-Tahrir. Look at Abdullah Abdul Musi, Hizb ut-Tahrir. Daniel Haqiqatjou. I like anybody who is trying to establish the Khilafah. It's YouTubers. Not ulama.
Yeah, they have a strong. They're strong on the YouTube.
They were gone. They were out. They were like, you know what I'm saying? When they were like completely.
A lot of them got locked. A lot of them got locked up. A lot of them was in the feds and locked up in prison. 10, 20 years. I know one of them just came out.
Thinking about these guys, like what? Like Hizb ut-Tahrir. Now they're back, right? Because of YouTube. You know what I mean? And these kids are just eating that crap up, man. Like they could eat the crap up and calling it chocolate. Put a little sugar on it. It's gonna be chocolate. Don't worry about it.
Because when the brother said about Salafi Pubs, it was like a blowback. I don't think so on 100% because at least the Salafi Pub followers, they already know the philosopher. You don't bring him to the Muslims to teach. SP not doing that. They doing some other grimy stuff.
What
they doing?
What I think the brother. Go ahead, Sia.
Yeah, I don't mean that they're imitating SP. What I'm saying about blowback, like blowback, when they say blowback, like when America going into Iraq created the conditions for ISIS to come about. It's not that they directly created. Well,
I got you.
So basically,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they created the conditions that caused it to come about.
Yeah,
so I'm saying, did SP create the conditions for this to come about? So people's reaction to SP has created this environment where these people can come forth.
Yeah, exactly. Because they done ruined so many lives and refuted so many people. Now all of these guys are uniting, right? Because of SP. You get me? And
but they don't mention SP people though. That's the thing. Daniel never really, unless he talk, because like when Daniel opened his mouth, right? He says Madakhila. This is my issue with interpreting what Daniel's trying to say when he used the word Madakhila. Is because the word Madakhila is more than just bootlicker. It has a very various meanings and interpretations. It can mean anybody who likes the Saudi government from the scholars. It could also mean the followers of Sheikh Rabi al-Madakhila, right? So when Daniel was attacking the Madakhilis, right, is he attacking SP? Because SP was never talking about him. SP never was talking about him before.
My
position
on that whole thing is that the reason why they use the term medically is to censor anybody who has the position that you shouldn't be speaking against the Muslim rulership. That's it. They're the ones who need to define the term, not us. It's not upon us.
Because the people today who use medically.
Hold on. Let me finish. Right. Because Mohammed Hijab, there's a clip on SP Files, okay, where he's talking with Daniel about the Madakhilis. You know what Mohammed Hijab said? Wallahi billahi talahi. Okay, anybody can go watch this right now. Okay, this is what he's saying. He's trying to define Madakhilis, and not me. Right? He's saying that the Madakhilis are the followers of Sheikh Rabi bin Hadi and Madakhili, right? But not every Madakhili is a follower of Sheikh Rabi bin Hadi and Madakhili. However, there's another group, and wallahi, he said this, okay?
In Jordan,
okay?
Yeah, I saw the clip.
Halabites. The
Yeah, he an
Halabites.
idiot. I heard him. Yeah, I heard him. He's an idiot. You know what he's talking about. I heard that.
He said about that Sheikh al-Halabi.
Wallah, he said it. Wallah, he said it. There's another group called the Halabites. Please explain to me what a Halabite is. He's trying to say that people are following the manhaj Sheikh Ali Hassan al-Halabi, right? That's what he's trying to say. He made up that group. I think he made it up on the spot. Okay, to try to make it sound like this type of conspiracy to silence people from speaking against the rulers. So he has to make something up because he knows very well that not everybody, follow Sheikh Rabi, nor the people who don't follow Sheikh Rabi, they have a position that you're not supposed to speak against the Muslim rulers. They have this position. So what is he doing? He's introducing the Halabites, right?
Yeah, I never heard nobody of scholars mention these before.
A Halabite? I don't know, but ask Sheikh Muhammad Hijab because
he's covering all bases.
Basically,
he was trying to cover all bases.
In my opinion, the reason they're not going to drill it down is because they want to attack all of Salafiyah, because Salafiyah is the only credible wing or part of Islam. Salafi is the only thing that obliterates their batil. Like they're on batil, most of them. Like it's not the Sunnah. What they're on is not the Sunnah. So like to say, oh, they're fighting in between each other, or he's Madkhali this, or Super Salafi that, or Wahhabi this. They're just trying to attack Islam.
Yeah. Their whole goal is ad hominem against Salafiyah. That's it. That's their whole. It's any type of insult they can hurl our way. It's cool with them. They don't care, right? It's very easy for us to go and basically go on the minbar and call the leaders and everybody following bootlickers or whatever. If they show us the command from the Quran and the Hadith to do so, if you could show us the command from the Quran or an ayah or a Hadith from the Prophet ordering us, okay, to speak against and we're not saying that this Salaf did it, and that we're not asking for that. We're just asking for the leader to do so. Only that. Because we know you people, you like to basically embellish with and play with ayats anyways, right? What we see is very clear ayat forbidding us to do it, correct? We see the whatchamacallit, the command not to go against the rulers and not to criticize. We see these commands very clearly in black and white. You know what I mean?
But I think they have another agenda. This is my observation over the years with non-Salafi people or pseudo-Salafis, people who claim to be Salafi but really are not. I think Yasser Qadi and Daniel Haqiqatjou and Muhammad Hijab were using the Salafis. So when I think about the brother said the blowback from SP, it could be there. I think so, but I wanted to mention that there is an understanding that the followers who claim Salafiyah in America or in the West, they're very ignorant themselves about the religion. And that's from my personal experience, following Salafiyah. So I have noticed that everybody from these groups, these peoples I mentioned, every one of them at one time were with Salafis or associate themselves with Salafis or associate being Salafi or mixing with Salafis, right? So let's look at Yasser Qadi. I personally believe that Yasser Qadi, when he started up the Maghrib Institute, that he always had a hidden agenda. I personally believe this. That Yasser Qadi, when he first started out, he already knew and understood that anybody who was a graduate from Medina University, that any Muslim from any country is going to respect you. So he got that degree from Medina University. He started out Maghrib Institute, calling to Salafiyah. Once you start getting the youth, Daniel's just trying to follow his way. When he got the Salafi youth, what did Yasser Qadi do? Yasser Qadi switched up. He went then and made a bayan with the Sufis, right? And then he got some of the followers, the youths from the Sufis, to join Maghrib Institute. Then they wrote that bayan right? That they're not going to be refuting each other, the Sufis and stuff. And some of the Salafis and Sufi came out and said that bayan is batil, right? What Yasser Qadhi do after that? Right after that, Yasser Qadhi went and got a degree. What is from Oxford? What university he got his degree from? I believe it's Harvard.
Yale.
Where was it?
Yeah.
Yale, right? So he went to Yale, right? And then he knows and understands once he go to Yale, now the Desi and the Muslims from the Middle East, they respect the circular Eurocentric education. They're going to respect that degree from Yale. So once he got the Salafi youth, the Sufis youth, he went to Yale, got a degree, his PhD, right? Then he got what? He got the old school people, the older people from his community who respect that Eurocentric European universities and degree, right? Yasser is very smart. Once he did that, once he got those people, so what did Yasser Qadhi do? Then he turned away from Salafiyya altogether and said, start talking against Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahab after he translated one of his books into English and one of in the commentary, made a lot of money off of that book, was teaching the books of Muhammad Abdul Wahab. Now he wants to get those deviant people from his country who got money. Let's be real. Them Akhru Kubo and them people's got money. There's many of them in his country. They are the majority. He made that move, right? He got his followers. I think Daniel was trying to do what Yasser Qadhi was doing. That's why he was mingling with the Salafis. I don't think he just don't have the career.
At the end of the day, right? Like all this stuff that they're doing, right? What are we doing? You know what I mean?
Following them. Unfortunately, some of us are following them.
Black folk, by and large, they don't follow these like even just naturally, they don't follow them. Just naturally, they don't follow. We have like this type of natural.
Nah, bro, come on, who that guy who's mad with me because I called out Daniel, one of our associates that who's black, going for his PhD.
Who?
I don't want to mention his name. Come on, I already showed you his clips.
That's one person, bro. I'm talking about,
bro. There's a whole bunch of them.
The wider, I don't know people just in the black community just running. Let's go to Daniel Haqiqatjou and whatever. And I've never seen that.
Yes, bro. I'm telling you, it's there. Because when you showed me he was
You're
racist,
talking about the one brother. You're talking about the one.
I know a whole bunch of them. I have associates who black. I'm telling you. When I showed them what Daniel said,
but I don't know them.
I know a few, man. We listen to Daniel. I know a whole bunch.
I don't know them, right?
And
I got this. Maybe I'm, but for what I'm seeing, the wider, particularly in the black grassroots, they don't follow these guys.
They don't follow him. No, they don't follow them.
Just naturally, they don't. You know what I mean? They look at them like.
I've seen some.
Go ahead.
I've seen some of the Somali youth gravitating to them.
Yeah, they're Somalian. What do you expect? Sorry to say it like that. Like, what do you expect, man?
yeah, that's true. Stuff a lot, but it's true, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if you're Easterner, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Daniel's trying to get followers, man. I think that's why he mixed and I think he from AIM conference. I think he pulled some of their followers. I honestly think he did.
Well, at the end of the day, like what I'm saying is that what are we doing? We can basically talk about them all day long or whatever, right? But we have to put in the work. We have to put in the work. Our people are generally not gravitating towards them. So there's this massive void, okay? Because in the Black Dawa spaces, Black people have been largely ignored, right? For many years.
That's facts.
It's only now recently that you find Black Duats openly saying, you know what, we need to handle Black issues. That just started.
Recently,
right? And so there is definitely a demand from the people, from the wider community. And what it is that the Black Duats, because they have been under attack from as far as I can remember, right? Absolutely, as far as I can remember, and then be ordered by outside people the people within the black people have been ordered by outside people to attack their own black scholarship, right? And they've never really received the support of the people, right? It's only now that we're starting to see the people, you're saying, you know, staying on code and you know, supporting the Black Duat. And so the Black Duat are now showing the love now, right? But we are the ones who have to make that, you know, that keep that wheel spinning, right? Because if we don't, then we're going to lose it all again.
That's true. That's 100% true. That's
you
true.
know what I mean? So Daniel is just doing what he's supposed to do. You know, how many jam? They're doing what they're supposed to do. They were way better. What do you expect, right? Like I know y'all laughed when I said, "Oh yeah, what do you think is Somalians going to do?" Right? They coming from the east, bro. They come
One
from
second.
Musa's
got another.
Go ahead.
Musa's got another comment here. He's saying he's trying to understand attack in what way. I've got a question, Musa. How old are you, first of all? We're not.
Well, the link is there. Why don't you just come on? It's like,
yeah, you can face us face to face, but then you probably feel intimidated.
Yeah, just come on.
How old are you, bro? We're not gonna bite.
You
and
know
then
what I mean?
you mentioned if you wanted to take knowledge, you'd go to the scholars and ask a student knowledge, right? Who? Who do you ask? I'm just curious, really. I don't have access to the comments right now, so that's why I'm asking you out in person.
Right.
I'm polite. I'm British, and then you know, Feachaz Canadian. He's gonna say sorry. You know, it's all good. Don't worry about Abu Bara. He's not gonna bite.
Yeah, but don't be afraid. Just come on and ask your question, man.
I'm from New York, man. I'm just rude by nature. I'm from New York.
yeah, you don't mean it. He's nice. He's nice.
I'm in New York, man. We not nice. Being nice in New York, you're gonna take me as being rude. Trust
the
me.
link is there, bro. What are you afraid of? Just come on, man.
I'll just be quiet when you come on. If you come on, Musa, I'll just be quiet.
You know, when you leave comments, there's no whatchamacallit, tone to comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, Musa, come through.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But when you're talking, then we can just make just basically see where you're coming from, and it's the proper.
But you got to understand that. But for some of these guys, I think everybody on this. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I know at least two of you brothers are over 40.
No, I'm not over 40. Thank you for not speaking for me. I got blame.
Okay, I didn't want to assume. But yeah, you're your butt question. But the rest of us is over 40. There is a generational gap because we all use technology, but some of these youth were given technology as babies.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
They were given they were given a iPad, when they were able to sit up and told to entertain themselves. This is all they know. They never, they never experienced. They never been to they never sat in a circle of knowledge. They never been to a QNS, Quran and Sunnah Society conference. They never. That stuff is just like you're talking about another age, another world that they have no clue about.
Exactly.
And even today, even now, even the people who are teaching religion in the masjid, they have to make it like entertaining just to keep the people who calm.
Attention, yeah.
Just to keep their attention and just them to calm, they have to make it entertaining, like fun and game.
I was talking to a brother maybe a couple of days ago or something, right? And I was telling him, I watched this documentary about these Hasidic Jews in New York, right? And this is New York City, right? And I said, if you've seen this documentary, these Hasidic Jews are in New York City, and it's like they're in a completely different country, a totally different country. It's like you can't believe this is New York City, right? Everybody there is Hasidic Jew. And you know what they were saying in this documentary? They're saying that there's no police there. They themselves, the community, polices their own community without guns. Okay. They have a number that the women can call, right? If they need security, and brothers will volunteer. Not brothers, but these Hasidic Jews, their brothers, they volunteer to go and protect their own women in their own community. And nobody in that community has internet.
Yeah, I seen that documentary. Yes, and I'm from New York too. Yeah,
Nobody in that community has internet. They consider internet evil. Did not Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah?
Yeah, he said that.
Yes, he did.
Did he give a fatwa? Do not go on the internet. So the Jews are benefiting from Sheikh Uthaymeen's fatwa, all right? And we out here reaping the benefits of our kids growing up on the internet, and we acting like, well, what's the problem? Because we don't want to give up the internet. Can you guys give up the internet?
And then Sheikh Mukbil said also because people will talk from their own desires, people will talk about the deen and have no knowledge. Did he say something like that? I believe he said something like that, right? Because it will open the door to people who have no elm to speak about the deen with no knowledge. That's what Sheikh Mukbil said, I believe.
Yeah. They gave this fatwa, okay? And the Jews are benefiting from the fatwa. Everybody in that community is rich. All of my money, okay? Nobody broke. Nobody ain't not paying their rent, right? They all have stable families. Are we, as Black folk, are we willing to give up the internet to build a real community? Are we willing to do that?
Also, the Anabaptists and the Amish as well.
Yeah,
they're the same.
Musa
The same way.
Salaam Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Musa?
Good evening, mate. How you doing?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you guys?
Salaam alaikum.
Good, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. What you got for us, bro?
Salaam
Sorry?
alaikum.
What you got for us?
Yeah, all good. Basically, just wanted to expand on your comment that you made earlier. You mentioned attack. So what do you mean by attack?
I don't know which comment you're talking about, actually.
And he was saying that the Black Duat were attacked. You were saying that how the Black Duat were attacked into silence, and it's only now that they're getting some traction and some support from.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was.
So that goes back to what we were asking before. Like, how old are you, Musa?
Exactly. So how old are you, Musa? That's why
I'm in my early 30s. I'm just
yeah. Right. Okay. So that makes sense, right? This question here makes sense, right? Right. And because we already put this out on the channel already, right? Back in the day, there was, from Spubs at least, particularly from Spubs, this campaign to make sure that particularly Black Duat coming back from Medina, right, and Yemen, who are not on their program, would be eviscerated. Absolutely eviscerated, right? Any Black Duat that was not on the same page as them, they would get refuted very quickly. And we put out a long list of names. A long list of names. And we said, do you think this is coincidence? Do you think this is by happenstance? And for almost 2 solid decades, any Black Duat that mentioned anything with regards to the Black experience or Black problems, what did they get labeled as? Somebody say it.
Black nationalists.
Nationalists. Even in the UK, there's one brother, Rahimullah, Ismail Beaumont, Rahimullah. When he was in Medina, he's a young guy. He's like probably a year older than me, but he's past this year. May Allah have mercy on him. Anyway, when he was in Medina, like a massive fitna happened with him and those guys, to the point where I'm sure that you even heard about it in Canada, even though you probably never met the man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We know about that fitna very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well. Right.
Yeah, so Musa, that's basically what we're talking about.
Yes.
Right. So they're getting attacked on account that they did not join the SP wave bandwagon, basically.
Yeah. Specifically SP. Right.
Okay. Right. Okay. I can understand that. If it's but yeah, I mean, how many Black Duat were really talking about basically the black
Name
stuff?
them. Name Black Duat that you know.
I know, what was that? There's a brother from Medina. I mean, the Hadith disciple. I know one of him.
Yep, he's one of them. Yes, they attacked him. Yes.
Mufti
Name
Munir.
another one.
Yeah, as soon as he came back, they attacked him. Yeah, they attacked him as soon as he came back. He told them in the masjid, you need to stop refuting people and need to start teaching the basic of the religion. He said, people go to work 9 to 5. They can't come to the masjid. And you talking about don't take knowledge from this person, refute this person, and they don't know the basic of their religion. They refuted him for that.
Yeah. So apart from, I mean, SP refutes everyone that's not on there in SP, whether you're black or white, right? They attack everyone.
Do they really refute everyone though? Do they?
Yeah, they refute everyone. I mean,
they go overextend for black people. The black Duat.
Do they really refute
so
everyone?
you're saying, yeah, they do. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, I'm in the UK, right? And I mean, I know SP.
Hey, no way.
I know I've had
bro,
SP.
with all due respect, it's not likely that you would know SP better than I do.
No. I'm not saying I know SP better than you do. I'm not saying that at all. Right? I know myself.
Plus, you got brother. You have to understand also.
Brothers. Wait one
second.
Let's give him a blind. Let him speak. Because I'm gonna back you, sir. Just because you're in the time zone as me, it's 2:00 in the morning. Let him speak, please.
Go ahead, Musa.
Nice.
So what I'm saying is, SP, from what I've experienced, right, is that they go after basically everyone that's not on their bandwagon. So if you're not part of Salafi Fabrications, you either get labeled as a Khawarij or Mubtadi', you're Dal Mudil, you're misguided, you misguide others, and that's how they label everyone. That's from what I've understood, from what I've seen throughout the years. I think that would be a fair statement. I mean,
right.
But so what I'm trying to understand is, are you saying that they're specifically going for?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of right. They refuted a lot of different people. Have you seen anyone from SP come and take over a Arab masjid or take over a Southeast Asian masjid?
Have I seen? No, they do their own masjid. They don't go to those masjids. Generally, they.
Well, they did that in the black community.
It depends on. It depends. What I'm saying. It depends on the
Plus, you got to understand also, brother.
It depends on the quote unquote the manhaj of the masjid, right? So generally, I mean, the South Asian masjids. There are.
I'm talking about Salafi masjids. I'm not talking about a Sufi masjid. Have you seen these people come take a Salafi masjid away from a Salafi imam because they kicked him off the minhaj and literally break down the doors, literally change the locks on the doors?
So you're talking about an Asian-run masjid that's on Salafiyah.
Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Basically, the landscape in the UK is a little bit different. So when it comes to Salafi masajid in the UK, then they're few and far between. And the ones that were established by Salafi publications, they tend to set up their own ones rather than try to take over ones that already existed.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the background, because there were Salafis in America before SP.
Exactly.
So, yes. Yeah. So there were people upon the Salafi manhaj in America before SP popped off.
That's right.
When SP came and just like I hate to use this as an analogy, but if you got a spot, you got a spot where you selling dope, and then somebody comes, they're talking to people on the street about how your dope isn't good or you're soft. People start thinking, you know what, they are kind of soft, and then they run up in your spot and take your spot. That's what it was. A horrible analogy, but that's what it was like. There were already communities already established in America, Canada, North America. And then when SP came along, they began attacking the leaders of these communities, making people doubt them and turn against them, or creating a wedge in those communities. And then even going as far as what I just said earlier, taking over some of those masajid and putting SP approved students of knowledge into those masajid.
Right.
Now, you didn't see that happen.
The brother
didn't see that happen
in the UK.
The brother dude, sorry guys. He says, Assalamu Alaikum, Abdul Hamid here. Tuned in late here. Is it if it's possible, can you summarize what we're discussing here? Lots of laughs, right? May Allah reward the brother and bless the brother and multiply it for you 10,000 fold. Ameen. Right? So right now, we're talking about the sabotaging specifically, because I don't want to get too far off topic, okay? Of Black Duat, right? The sabotaging and the attacking of Black Duat, right? Then the question came from Musa the Gamer, don't they just attack everybody? And I said, no, they don't attack everybody. I know very well, because those of you who know me, right, know that I was a part of Troy for a long time. Okay, a very long time. I know them very well. I know how they operate. But they will attack any Black Salafi who is not with their program. This is what we are saying. And if you don't believe that, look at the white Salafis that they have attacked. Name them right now.
Yasser Cardi at one time.
I don't have that.
White Salafis.
I don't have that.
You know.
Need to sleep soon.
Thank you. Do I need to say any more?
Right. So when you say attack, right, you mean, does attack mean being silent on them? Is the silence?
No, they would write a hit piece. They would basically take a snippet of something that anyone has said, put it out of context, take it to a sheikh, ask the sheikh for their opinion on this thing without giving context. A hit piece is written, and they just say, "Don't take from this so and so because they're dal wa modil, they're off the manhaj," and they would do that methodically.
Right, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying there. I mean, they write PDFs.
And it had repercussions. It had repercussions beyond that also.
Yeah,
it literally split marriages. It caused marriages to get divorced. It caused family members to go against each other. It caused best friends boycott each other. You have masjid split. Half the masjid doesn't give salam to the other half of the masjid.
I definitely understand that, but what I'm saying is they also did attack other, du'ats that were Black.
Nobody's saying that they didn't attack other du'at, bro.
So what I'm trying to understand, wait, let me go back to the beginning. So I'm trying to understand is that you're saying SP is specifically targeting Black du'at because they're Black.
They're not targeting Black specifically because they're Black. They left a lot of Black Sufis alone.
Right.
They're targeting Black du'ats for control. You understand?
Okay.
Okay. So can I mention something? Mr. Brother Musa. I'm from New York. All right. So I'm in the U.S. All right. And I'm right next door to Philadelphia. Right. A Salafi Pubs stronghold is in Philadelphia. You know that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So any Salafi Duat that comes from Medina University or any Saudi university that has a bachelor's, master's, or PhD, right, and not associate with them, they refute them. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Now, now, and those same masjids in Philadelphia, that's with SP. Do you know in Philadelphia they got Quraniyun?
Mm-hmm.
They have in Philadelphia also. What's the other group? Al Habashi.
Habashi, yep.
Yep, they have them there. They have also in Philadelphia the Ahmadis. The Ahmadis. They have Ahmadis in Philly. Yep. And all type of Sufis. Do you know that in their masjid they won't refute their imams by name on the minbar, but they will talk about Sheikh Tahir White on the minbar. They will talk about Muhammad Munir on the minbar. They will talk about Shadid Muhammad, refuting them on the minbar, but they won't refute none of those imams from the Ahmadis, Al-Habashis, them Sufis, and deviant masjids. They won't never mention their imams on the minbar. They scared because when people come and fight them. You see what I'm talking about now? You understand what the brother's talking about?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So what you're saying is they won't mention them by name because of potential repercussions that can happen, right? Backlash or whatever, yeah?
Nah, they're cowards. Cause no
backlash or anything like that.
Because see the ones who are graduates, like for example, Sheikh Tahir has his PhD, right? He has his PhD in Sharia law. You have Tazkiyah from many of the mashaykh. His degree alone is tazkiyah. He taught in the Prophet's mosque, right? The Prophet Muhammad, he taught in the mosque of the Prophet. You understand? So you understand his position. No one gets that position in the Prophet's mosque, and he's like nobody ain't got no knowledge. That means that you have to have knowledge and you have tazkiyah. You know they refute him here? SP, they refute him. Why?
I believe they refuted him because he joined that that organization.
No. It had nothing to do with that.
No, because he's black. He's black. He have his PhD and he have the ulama with him. He's a threat to them. He's a threat to them. He's a threat to their followers. Their followers are ignorant. They don't understand Quran. Listen, I've been part of SP following for years. I'm 44.
No, I definitely understand. I'll tell you.
Listen.
I'll tell you.
I'm 40. But real quick, I'm 44. I've been with these guys since I was about 25, 26. I'm 44 years old right now. I seen it all with them.
No,
all right.
I'll give you an example of what I personally experienced. Right. So I went into. I was in the United States. Right. I was in Atlanta. So I go to the masjid. Right.
Yeah, they good. They bad in Atlanta. They messed up. Oh, they worse in Atlanta. In Georgia,
so I
they
went
worse.
there, and then so I didn't know what time the salah was, so I just went in there. I saw I don't know why I didn't look at the clock. I was just traveling, passing through, right? So I pray the Asr and I leave. There's a brother. The masjid was empty at the time. I thought they must have prayed already. I was about to leave the masjid, and then there was a guy who stopped me. It was a black brother. And I said, "Oh, where are you from?" Because he recognized I'm not from the United States. So I say UK. We start a little small talk while I'm putting my shoes on, right, to leave. And he says to me, "Oh, do you know Green Lane?" They know everything. Do you know Green Lane? Yeah, I know Green Lane. Oh, do you know that who's that? Oh, do you know Kamal and Maki? Yeah, they invited a Sahir, everything. I'm thinking like they accused what was it, Kamal and Maki, right? They accused them of sihr. So I understand that it's a cult, but so you're saying that they purposely target black du'at, right, for control? And okay, so when you say
Black
control,
Salafi Duat.
Black Salafi Duat, right? When you say they target black Salafi Duat for control, are you talking about the control of the black opinion? Is that what you're talking about, or
money? They're cults. So Salafi Pubs is a religious cult and a pyramid scheme type cult. So they want to monopolize it. So people go buy books, they buy their books. When they want to go buy somebody's translation, they're going to buy Salafi Pubs approval translation. You understand? It's money in it. So for example, I translate books, I translate things. They have I remember one of them wrote a website and say any of these people's website you see, don't read their stuff, right? Only read from the SP translators. You understand? So it's a business. It's a business. So think about it. If I go and sit with Sheikh Tar here and I go to his masjid, I'm gonna buy his material. So they don't want you to go out to these people. Number one, they want you not to spend money on them. They want your money. Number two, they don't want these people who have degrees. All right? They don't want your followers to follow them because somebody with some intelligence, you start learning, like, oh man, this guy has more knowledge than him. Why am I going to learn from this guy from SP who flunked out of Medina, who flunked out of Medina University or Soda University? Like, what's that guy? Bilal Abdul Karim. What's that guy name? Bilal Davis. Like, he flunked out of Medina University, right? So I'm gonna go study with this guy who flunked, or I'm gonna graduate, got his master's degree and got tazkiyah from the ulama. You got me? You understand where we're coming from? So in America,
Musa, were you born in the 90s?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to think in terms of the history behind this, okay? You are witnessing now everything that's going on online now, right? What was going on in those times is not what was happening now, okay? Back in those times, when the time where you were born, the internet was just popping off. It was just starting. The only Salafi website, or Muslim website rather, there were two of them, Islam.qa and Salafi Publications. That was it. Salafi Publications, they owned the information because they were the only website that was on the English language for Islam. You understand? There were no Sufi websites back then. Okay? There was no Quran.com back then. You had Salafi publications, you had Islam.qa, you had Fatwa Online. Okay, and then Troid came. Okay, you understand? Troid was basically, it started off as just a dawah center. That's how it started. We're just making dawah to the kuffar. Only that. One of the brothers at Troid, he found Salafi publications online. He started posting the Salafi publications articles on the Troid website. Salafi publications, it was called SalafiPublications.com back then. They sent Troid a cease and desist order. And that's how Troid and Pubs actually met from that, okay? When the Abu Khadija, Bilal Davis, and I think Enjab was there, but for sure Abu Khadija and Bilal Davis, when they came to Detroit at this big QSS conference, that's when the whole onslaught against the Black Duat started, because they saw the amount of people that went to this conference. It was a sea of Negroes, okay? Most of, like 99% Black. Were you guys there at that conference? Who was there at that conference? I think CL, you were there, right?
Well, I didn't catch what you just said. Sorry,
Were you at the Detroit conference with the Jordanians and stuff when Spubs first came to the States for the first time?
What was what was that, 99?
No, it was before 99. I think it's 96 or something.
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
The QSS conference, he said.
Yeah, QSS conference, right? But that was the first time Salafi publications came to the States. Okay. From before that, on their website, what was on the Salafi publications website? It was Aqidah, lots of Aqidah articles. Lots of Aqidah articles. Okay. And then they started refuting Asharis. Okay, refuting the Ash'ari. I didn't even know what an Ash'ari was before I read it on Salafi publications. Okay. Then they started refuting Deobandis and Jamaat Tabligh and all this kind of stuff, right? And what was Troy doing? Troy was putting up lectures from the scholars at that time, from translated lectures, okay? It was the largest audio library online. That's why Troy became big, because of this audio library. You can't find audios now. But Troy became big because of that. They were translating complete lectures from scholars, okay? So now what starts happening, okay? People start going overseas. They start studying, right? They come back to the West. Salafi is growing where? Where is Salafi growing? Who are the majority of the Salafis at this time? Thank you. Black people. The vast majority of Salafis were Black people. They're all converts, all converting to Islam, becoming Salafi. And we were all going to which two websites? Only two.
Salafi.com.
Go ahead.
Salafi.com.
Mm-hmm.
SalafiTalk.com.
Yeah, that came after. Yep, that all this.
Yeah, that came after. That's underneath the banner.
That's underneath the banner.
Troy.ca.
And Troy.ca and Salafi Publications. But even at that time, Troy was a little bit more popular because of the audio library. But when Salafi Publications started doing what C.L. Edwards started saying right now, Salaf.com, they made the Salaf.com, they made the Salafi Talk, right? The forum, the talk forum. Okay. They did, and then we started seeing the brothers from Philly, Menhaj.com. Okay. So now it becomes this big conglomerate, right? But where brothers from Toronto, Philadelphia, and the UK that start cooperating. And they own, remind you, this is not our time. Now you have anybody can become an influencer. But in those times, you couldn't do it. They had it on lockdown. You understand? They were controlling all the information. And if you were not with the program,
you were locked out.
Thank you. Who were the majority of the people going to study in Medina University?
Black
people.
Salafis.
Black people, Salafis. Who were the majority of the students going to the match?
Blacks.
Black people.
Black people.
Black people. Why is that? Because the majority of the Salafis were what? They were black.
Black.
They made sure that if you were not down with their program, you would get derailed. They refuted Sheikh Bilal Phillips. They refuted Sheikh Abdullah Hakim Quick. They refuted Sheikh Khalid Yassin. They refuted Abu Usama al-Zahabi, Abu Muslima, Dawood Adi. All of these, they were working together with them, mind you, at one point, and then they just refuted them. Okay? They refuted the one that you know is Mufti Munir. You're late in the game now, all right? You're coming late. Yeah, exactly. You're coming late in the game, right? Because you didn't see all this stuff before.
But
right? You're thinking in your head that Salafi publications, they just refute everybody, right? Because they have a reputation for just refuting people and random, but you're not seeing the scheme behind it. You're not seeing the plot. You're just seeing the reputation.
It was like Coin Intel Pro. That's the way I would look at it. Well, I'm talking about just the way people.
He might not know what COINTELPRO is. He might not know what COINTELPRO is.
And that's why I asked.
I know he knows. I know, but it's like.
That's why I asked you, how many white duats did they refute? They didn't do it not because there's no deviant white duat, but because it doesn't serve their purpose. They know very well where their money comes from. They know. I don't think
this younger generation doesn't even understand the extent of it. There was like spying.
Yeah,
people would spy on people. Like
not people would just like you're talking about. Even within in Canada over here, we have people in the higher ups that were working with CISA. CISA is like you consider like what you call the FBI in the States and what I don't know what.
No, I'm talking about spying for SP. That's not for the.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. SP. That's what I'm talking about. They spy for SP and they spy for.
Well, yeah, no, I see that.
So
but I mean,
majority of SP are black majority. The overwhelming majority is black are the black people in SP.
Is that the same case in Britain?
No, but is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to. Okay. So therefore,
there's history here that you're missing because you were born in a time that we were seeing it. You get it?
Yeah.
So now you're seeing.
Look at the way
the tail end, right? And you think that the tail end is the history when the tail end is just the after effects. Salafi publications was the Islamic voice. You get it?
Right. I'll give you. Do they? Let's say. What do they say, for example, against, for example, Muhammad Tim Humble? I believe he's a.
The guy.
I never heard him say anything about him.
I haven't heard him say anything about him, but the followers do talk about him. They followers talk about him.
I never heard him say anything about Tim Humble.
But he doesn't get verbally called out, right? It's saying.
Have you heard?
I've never heard. I've thought. I'm asking.
All right.
I've never heard.
They followers might talk about him, Tim Humble. My followers might not like him.
Oh yeah.
You got me? But I never heard Abu Khadija come out and talk about him.
No, I haven't either.
You got me? Because that's not where their money is coming from. Their money's not, a lot of black folks not following. Tim Humble don't have a lot of black followers in America. You got me? He's in the UK.
Right. So if it's only about money, then
yes,
that leads to a deeper question, right? If it's only about money, therefore
it's not only about money, though. It's not only about money.
But it's largely about money. It was largely about money too.
Like the movement.
Go ahead, Bilal.
Yes, but it was. But
go ahead. Let Bilal get one in because he's up late night. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not just about the money. It's also about undermining the movement. Whenever there's a movement that has traction with black people historically. So outside of Salafia, just generally, and this is maybe a hint or a nod as to what COINTELPRO is about. Anytime black people start to unify and move in a positive direction, there's a force that undermines them, sometimes from within. This is no different. It's just dressed in a thobe. That's basically what it is.
Perfectly said.
There are two types of cults. There's a religious cult. If you study cults, right? I'll study a little bit about cults, right, in psychology, right? cults have maybe 2 or 3 groups. They are religious cults or they are financial cults. Salafi Pubs is mixed with religious cults and financial cults. Everything they do when they refute peoples in the black community, one, they know that, hey man, our money come from these people. And we want to keep the money coming from these people. It's like, I want to have the only store on the block. No one else could come on the block and open up a store. Because they don't want customers going somewhere else. So they're not just a religious cult, they are also a business cult. There's a business to what they're doing. You understand, Musa?
Yeah, I'm just
Think about it. Just think about it. I'm from the US and we know all, and he's from the UK. The brother Bilal, the Feachaz, he's from Canada. And the other brother CL, he's in the US, and we talking about detailed things about SP, about Salafi Pubs in the UK. We don't even live in the UK, but we know all these things.
Yeah, so if it's primarily if one of the aspects is money, therefore it really wasn't about dealing in the first place. Is that what you're saying? It's just a guise to basically put people.
Allahu Alam, if it was about the deen in the first place, Allahu Alam. But
because
we know the direction
it opens up for those kind of thoughts. So if it's primarily about money, right, and to control the black population and to make sure the money flows in from there, right, then at the heart of it, they're insincere because everything was only about money. So all the massages, all the books, everything, the translation, all that work, it's just for money, right? If they have
how can we know? We can't know that. Like we don't know what their initial intentions were. We don't know that.
No, but I do know. I do know. For example, Rand, right? I know about Rand. They do support these kind of movements because they acquiesce, right? So if you, I mean, I don't know if you guys you know about Rand, yeah?
No, explain.
Yeah,
explain for the guests.
He's talking about the Rand report.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I heard of that before.
Yeah. So I mean, there's got to be a hidden hand as well there. That
you see, that's what we're talking about. You coming in late in the game. That Rand thing is nothing new. No, it's nothing new. We known about this for years. For many years. You just found out about it because maybe you watched Danny Haqiqatjou video.
No. I knew
even Sajid mentioned it on his channel.
No, I knew about Rand for a long time, to be honest with you. Like I knew about
right?
it.
So that really is not here, neither here or there. If you're talking about intention, we don't know what their intention was in the beginning. It could have been for dawah, Allahu Alam. But then,
so you're saying
how many people start with good intentions and end up somewhere else?
True, but you're saying it's morphed into basically.
And that's all I can tell you. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what their intention was. That all I can tell you is where it went. That's it.
What's that statement? The path to hell was paved by good intentions.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't think that we're like we're black and they don't like us because we're black and that's it. No, we're talking from experience about SP. This is not something that we made up. When I first came to Salafi Dawah back in early 2000, maybe 2003, what was the first things they taught me?
What was that?
The first things they taught me? They taught me that Imam Siraj, all right, that this they like Imam Siraj is a black nationalist. Abu Muslima used to make fun of him and call his name, his government name, which is Michael. I never met Abu Muslima. I know his name is Michael. How I know? Because this is what the followers used to make fun of him. First thing they taught me. Sheikh Rabia, and if I talk about black issues, I'm considered to be a black nationalist.
Yeah.
That's what I learned when I first introduction to SP. Then they introduced me to some books like Sharh al-Sunnah, Imam Ahmed, and Usul al-Thalatha, and stuff like this.
The ones
and that's
that were teaching you this, were there other black brothers that were doing this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Dawud Adib, he get mad. People mention that. Dawud Adib was promoting it for a long time. Matter of fact, you remember that talk? Let's backbite for an hour. Remember that? Who remember that lecture? Let's backbite for the hour for the sake of Allah.
That
Huh?
was in Toronto.
I remember that.
Troy.
I remember that.
Remember that?
I was a big part of that. We were organizing that. That was the first Troy conference. I was a part of that. That was when Sheikh Fawzi Asadi came to Toronto.
Yeah, look what happened to his proposal. He got refuted too. Look at that. And right after that, he got refuted, unfortunately. But remember who they was talking about? Who was talking about his backbite? He was talking about Sheikh Bilal Phillips. That's what he was backbiting. Hey, they was talking about Sheikh Bilal Phillips. Why they was trying to say why Sheikh Bilal Phillips is not with us. Sheikh Bilal Phillips refuted them real good, man. To this day, man. Sheikh Bilal Phillips, Allah bless this man with wisdom because he was exposing them from day one. I was in my 20s, my late 20s then. But now I'm in my 40s. I'm like, yo, Sheikh Bilal Phillips, he was exposing these guys from back in the days about their manhaj and their methodology
as well.
I remember that talk, Akhi. That talk was still with me to this day. What year was that talk?
It was like 95 or something, 94 or 95, I think.
I came to Islam in 98, and I was listening to that in the early 2000s. You know how long that video was? You know how long that lecture was on the internet? Almost probably a decade and a half.
Yeah.
You know how many people listening to that stuff? You know what? And it charged up black people, the African American Salafis. Like when somebody new come on scene who's a graduate, the first thing they do is like, they gotta go. Which one of these personalities is okay in this guy? I remember when Shadi Muhammad came. I remember Shadi Muhammad when he came back from Medina. It was very popular with these guys. And until he started talking about the dirty stuff that a lot of things is going on in the Salafi community, all the dirty dirt, he started letting all that stuff out. All the filth, he started letting it out. What's going on? Then they had to get rid of him. They was spying on him. They start spying on him. There's a lot. These people broken up a lot of homes. I know a lot of brothers to this day, African American brothers, who got mental health issues because of these people. I'm not exaggerating. There's a brother. His name is Garrett. Right? I know him as Musa. Garrett has a website. He talks about SP. He hates them so much. Garrett used to be a Salafi. He used to go to a Salafi masjid. And you talk to Garrett. Ask Garrett why he hates Salafis to this day. He talk about his experience with the Salafis, especially with Mustafa George. Mustafa George. Who's Mustafa George? People should know who Mustafa George is, right? He talk about his bad experience with Mustafa George. So I'm telling you, a lot of brothers got mental health issues, right? A lot of anxiety from these people. I'm telling you, I know a lot of brothers born Muslim mother and father into Salafi pubs. You ask them today about Salafi Adawa, they hate it. They hate it. Like, oh, I can't like my mother. My mother's Muslim. Oh, your mother's not Salafi. That give people mental health issues. This is some real serious stuff.
Allah will deal with them in Yom Al-Qiyamah. Justice will come.
Go look up this guy. Name is Garrett. Musa Garrett.
Okay, Rose, I want to wrap it up. I know the two British brothers are waiting, dying to go to sleep now, man. So
I am
Bilal, go ahead. You go first, Bilal.
I want to say Jazakumullah khairan. There was a brother in the chat that was asking, how does the title end up? I don't even know how we ended up here from the title, to be honest.
It's always Abu Bora's fault. It's always Abu Bora. He always changing the subject, man. I'm trying to stay on the subject. He want to talk about Daniel every single time, man. And we end up all the way over here dealing with Musa the gamer and his comments and stuff, man.
Well, next time if I join you guys, then I'll ask about the subject matter at hand.
No, it's all good, bro. I'm just
Musa, yeah. if you're ever in London, Croydon, whatever, just let me know. I'll take you out for a tea or something.
Cool.
Salaam Alaikum.
Musa the gamer, go ahead, bro. What last comments you want to make? Go ahead.
No, I haven't really got anything. I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to speak on your platform. And maybe I'll look forward to talking to you guys in the future.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. Bro, go ahead, Abu Bora, the subject changer every single time, all the time.
I know, man. Might have a little, anxiety make me keep on. It's the anxiety out here. But that brother Musa of the game, I hope that you really understand. We're not talking about, and here is like we hate people. We hate people because their skin color. A lot of non-blacks, when they see us as black Muslims talk about experience, the first thing that comes to their mind is like, oh, these guys are like, pro-black. And if anybody speaks about anything, like we're against other Muslims, no. We are trying to fix our communities. We have a lot of issues in the black community, Muslim community. Many compounding problems that Islam have the solutions in our community, which we're not doing. So this is when a brother mentioned these things in his topics or on his YouTube channel. He's talking about issues that we as our community need to fix, right? As our community, because the Salafi dawah from SP, it destroyed a lot of this. Destroyed what we should have been doing like decades ago. When SP came in, it messed it all up. It messed it all up. So I hope you understand where we're coming from, because we're talking about we need to go back now and fix our communities, and we're mentioning things that are, maybe when you came on and you were asking any questions like, why are these guys talking like this? We have a reason why we have these topics when we're talking about it. And then in another sense, it's a way to relieve ourselves. If I don't talk about this, maybe I go crazy in my house, man. I'm serious. There's a lot of black folks, African-American Muslims who Salafi. They're going through a lot of these issues in their community. And they live in them SP communities. No one's talking about this stuff. And they suffering silence. They're in their house and they're in street suffering. Go look on this brother's channel, right? He got a video of Hassan Somali. You know who Hassan Somali is? He has a video right there in Philadelphia where he's the imam in Germantown. Somebody shot. People getting shot right in front on the same street of the masjid. He's there. And they don't have the solutions for none of the black issues in their community. But they refuting people every day. They refuting Muhammad Munir. They refuting Shadid Muhammad. And the black people where they live, Muslims are suffering. But they don't want to address these issues because they think it's being a black nationalist to fix black problems. That's why I feel the way I feel,
Brother CL, go ahead.
I agree with everything that everybody said. You got to understand, like, the way I was brainwashed. SP wasn't just a group in Islam. SP was Islam. SP was Islam, and there was no other alternative. So what I saw and what I experienced for myself is when a lot of brothers who received that, and sisters who received that brainwashing that SP was Islam, when they lost confidence in SP, or the SP became exposed, or they realized SP really wasn't what they thought it was, they were done with Islam, period. Like the brother just said, I knew brothers, and this happened to African-American brothers, it happened to Puerto Rican brothers, it happened to Arabs that I knew. I knew a really good Yemeni brother who was he got into the dawah. He was a good brother. And the last person I spoke to told me he's an atheist now. We had brothers who left, they became Black Hebrew Israelites. Some of them became Native Americans. Some of them became Christian. I myself left Islam. And became a Christian and went to seminary to become a Christian and spoke against Islam. So when the brother said that, that type of cultish mentality can cause mental disturbances and illness, no, this is for real. So yeah, and that's why I said that this appears to me like blowback, not directly what's going on. It's not directly blowback, but because the SP took up so much space and it imploded, it leaves room for these other guys, this new thing to come and fill that void. That's all I got to say.
I want to say Jazakallah khair for all the brothers that came on. I want to say Jazakallah khair for all my cast. I want to make a dua for the brother Dude Desi. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 10,000-fold. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen.
Ameen.
I want to thank our brother Musa for being brave enough to come on the show and just to talk to us, right? And this is what we have the platform on. Is what we do the lives, right? If you're a detractor, just come on and just ask. This is no problem. Did you feel threatened by us, Musa?
No, I didn't. No.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Thanks for letting people know. All right. Haqiqatjou. May Allah reward you and bless you all. And out there in Britain, time for you guys to go to sleep. You got to wake up for Fajr. Okay. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.